talk something a little different about the aquaponics system. I probably get, I don't know, 4 to 5 emails and messages a week talking about the economic viability of aquaponics. I guess a lot of people do this in their backyards, whether they're survivalists or they want better food or something like that. And there's some people doing it commercially, and there's some really good ones doing it commercially that are public, but a lot of them don't really get involved in forums and stuff like I am. So now this is just for me. This isn't anyone else. Information I'm going to give you is just what I see and what I think I'm seeing and everything like that. So and it's all still learning progress. So and here's some things I found out just to get out there so people know and everything like that about what I see, how I see it, and stuff like that. And this list comes from a variety of different places. Stuff in the last year or two I've picked up, made a list, everything like that. Training I've gone to, it's, you know, it comes from all over. So I can't say, hey, these 2 people helped me get this list. It was from a lot of different places and stuff I learned. First thing is people want numbers. I really cannot give you any numbers. You sell this product for this price, and this is your input cost, and there's your output cost. You really can't say that because I'm in the North Texas area, and let's say I want to grow lettuce, okay? I can sell lettuce for X amount, and it costs me this amount to produce. Well, both of those prices, even let's say the Dallas area, I'm north of Dallas just a little bit, are going to be variable. Are you on the north side? Are you on the south side? Are you on the east side, the west side? Are you in the inner city? You know, and costs. If I have to hire somebody, what are my labor costs? What's my water cost? What's all the different costs? What's my land cost? So the costs in your profit margin are going to be subjective. That is something you have to do yourself, and you have to see if you can make it. Now, saying that, you are growing a premium product, so you are going to get a little more. And on that note, if you want to grow lettuces, which is a great crop in aquaponics to sell, 2 things you have to remember is do not grow iceberg lettuce. The big field operations, and there's no nutritional value or anything like that, there'll be no money. So don't grow your higher quality lettuces and everything like that. And on saying that, you cannot overprice your product. You are growing a premium. You know, you are growing it all organically. You're probably, most of you will be. So, but you cannot overprice it where people won't even buy it. So, sorry, it's 99 out today, so it's a little warm. So, and I'm in the greenhouse right now, so there's not much wind in here. So, if I look a little warm, that's why. The first thing is you want to talk about is, unless I got some notes here, I didn't want to forget anything. I'm sure I have, but you see me looking down and reading, that's what I'm trying to do, is make sure I have my notes. The first thing is, unless you're a really big operation, you almost have to sell directly to your client to really make. You cannot really go through a wholesaler because they will take the profit. Because a wholesaler is trying to make money too. A wholesaler will always try to buy from you less and sell to customers higher. They want that middle ground wider and wider all the time. And it might start here, and if here's your client side and there's the price out here, the client side isn't going to go out much. But I'll guarantee you yours will go down. You know, that's how the wholesale market works. So if you really want to, you have to almost sell directly to your clients. Now, whether you do like a CSA, community supported agriculture, which we looked at and it's out there, but we don't know if we're really going to do it. Farmers market, right now as the plan starts, we're kind of leaning towards the farmers market avenue. There's also, you can sell directly to a store or sell directly to restaurants. The whole locavore thing in restaurants is becoming pretty big. So if you find some restaurants and you grow peppers and lettuces, you know, and stuff like that, and herbs, and you grow and you supply these restaurants, that's a pretty good little income. You know, you could do some pretty good stuff with that. So to really make it, you almost have to sell directly to your client to cut out the wholesaler, unless you're really big. And if you want to go big, hey, go for it. Saying that, you might start off selling directly to your customers and then grow and then start selling to wholesalers. That's fine. At that point, you will see the numbers and know if the numbers will work for you. The next thing you have to think about is, unless you have a lot of startup cash, I mean a lot of startup cash to make a huge building, you have to start thinking growing up. And what I mean by up is, I guess you can kind of see here is, I'll just go right here. Here's your space, I'll go here so you can see them more. In your greenhouse, here's the ground, here's your ceiling. You're growing something on the ground and it uses this. All this space here is waste. You have to utilize all that space between the grow bed and your ceiling to make more product and ultimately to make more money. So that is something you really have to look at, and that's whether you grow in tiers, do you grow vertically, you know? I am a real big fan of the vertical farm. You know, a lot of stuff, you can't do everything. A lot of stuff you can grow vertically. You don't have channels down the one side. You know, and you can grow a lot of stuff that way. You can really maximize your space and grow a lot of products in a smaller area. So think about growing up, you know, as well as out. That will maximize your space to grow. The next thing I see is try to have at least 2 main crops. Okay, and what I mean by that is, let's say you're growing all lettuce. That's fine. I would not grow all bib lettuce, obvious reasons. I might not even grow all lettuce. I might, you know, whether I grow lettuce and herbs, it's great. You know, I want to grow lettuce and peppers, it's great. I want to grow all lettuce, that's fine, but I would at least stick to a couple different kind of lettuces, and all that does is it heads your bets, you know, with diversity. In case something happens, in case a market crash, disease, whatever happens, you have, your downtime is less and your economic impact is less. So try to have at least 2 main crops. They can be in the same family, which is fine, but if you can get out of the same family, it's even better. So that's what that one is. Another one I got, and this comes, I know right where I got this from, and I want to thank him, Bright Agrotech. He's got a YouTube channel. He's got some great videos, and I really like how he takes a scientific approach to everything, which I really like. And this really meant a lot when I watched one of his videos a while ago. And basically, it means you want to treat light, and that's what he said, but I'm also throwing your fish water, since you're growing aquaponics, because hydroponic people treat their water like this, and you'll know what it is in a minute. Aquaponic people a lot of times don't, and I don't understand why, because you are just hydroponically, and the only thing difference is you're using fish water instead of putting chemicals in. But you want to treat your light and your fish water, you know, as a resource, not a commodity. And you're like, you know, what? Which means you want to conserve it, you want to use it properly and not waste any of it as much as possible. What I mean by that is, let's say, just for the sake of things, I'm in the northern hemisphere. For the sake of argument, this back wall here is a northern wall. It's not, but just for demonstration purposes, that's the north wall. You're facing north, I'm facing south. Well, you need to put something on there if it's dead of winter to get the most of light so it just doesn't go out. If you watch one of my other videos, what I line my fish tanks with, you know, a rated barrier, it's an insulated rated barrier, I'm putting that up on the north side of my greenhouse. That's going to reflect the light back to all my crops on the opposite side of the plants that might not have gotten some of the light. And it'll also, with being a little insulated, it's only like that thick. Let me go to the light, make sure you can see how thick that is. but it is still getting an R value, albeit small, an R value to stop the cold from the north. So, and the water, excuse me, you really want to maximize its use. And like I was saying before, this is where I think some aquaponic people get it wrong. They think of aquaponics as you're growing fish and crops. That's backwards. You are growing crops with fish. Okay? Now, you can do things to maximize that fish. Your main product, your main crop, your main focus is the crops, is your plants. That's your main source of money. That's your main everything. You know, unless you're in aquaculture, that's a different story. If you're in aquaculture that uses plants, it's completely different than being in aquaponics, which is a symbiotic relationship between the two. So you really have to maximize it. You know, if your water needs, you can have X amount of beds, have X amount of beds to maximize that. Saying that, I am going to be doing everything I can to maximize my fish, because think of the fish as a bonus crop. That's all it is. Your fish is a bonus crop, you know, and it's kind of, you can plan it a little bit in your budget, but try not to plan too much of it in. Just think of it as bonus money coming in. I'm going to try to maximize that bonus, okay, by adding some biofilters and adding, solids removals as much as I can, so I can maximize the amount of fish to maximize that bonus. So just remember to get it right. So remember, you are a hydroponic grower if you're in aquaponics. You're hydroponics, whether you like it or not. You're growing everything hydroponically. You got to think hydroponics. The only difference is you're using the fish water as food instead of chemicals, like I said. So think hydroponics when you're doing this. Everybody, a lot of plants really like their pH level 6.2 to 6.6. There's some exceptions to the rule. Now, I know it gets in me and they'll say, oh, you're forgetting about it. Yes, there is exception to the rules. A lot of plants like it in that range. So a lot of the aquaponics people I always see, keep your things 6.6 to 7. If I have tilapia and there's no difference in my tilapia life, whether the pH is 6.1 or 7, there is no difference for the tilapia in that range. Why don't I keep it at the 6.2, 6.4 range so my plants are happier? That's something that I try to do differently, is think hydroponically, but fish is just a source of my food, and a bonus crop. So, and the next thing I see is you have to start small and grow, okay? Start small, grow bigger, 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 bigger. Don't get big and try to make the market. Right now, you can see a lot of these inner city projects and everything like that with aquaponics. They're taking this old building and they're doing this and they have this big, huge thing. A lot of that got startup cash, and it's using the startup cash because it's pretty hard. It's hard to take old buildings because of the whole humidity levels and the fogging and everything like that. You almost have a building that's made for plant growth. So that's why a lot of those really aren't viable. They're good showpiece, they're good educational, and for that point, great. But if you notice, a lot of them that are doing it, they are adding on, they're building next to them, and they're more traditional greenhouses and stuff like that. So you start small and grow. Try not to go big. You want to go big? Great. And there are some big operations out there. There's a few of them that are doing great. But most of them started smaller first and grew big. So just remember, don't overgrow right away. And saying that, as you're growing, test all your systems. If you watch my other videos, pretty much everything you see in all my systems, a year, maybe a year and a half from now, it won't be there. They'll be gone. Everything I am doing now, I am testing. Excuse me, I know the theory of how everything should work. Studying for a while, went to training, like I said, and all that. I was lacking in the whole hydraulics area, the flow of the water. I know I was lacking. I wanted to make sure I understood it. I wanted to make sure I knew flows, pipe sizes, in and out, splashing effects, all that stuff. That's why if you look at my system, I will keep changing it, and I will keep adding features and tweaking it and everything like that, because I want to know all the different features I can do and how the flow rates are and the hydraulic effects to everything like that. So you want to test all your systems on a small scale before you go really big. Okay, that way you will know how it works, what it does, what are the effects, and is it viable to do. So, in saying that, another problem I see is you really have to plan your workflow. If you're a smaller operation, and even a bigger one, your biggest variable cost is going to be labor. And for the most part, a lot of you are going to be the labor. You know, you might hire a little here and there, but you are going to be the bulk of the labor. Your workflow has to be smooth. You don't want to go to that side of the greenhouse to plant seedlings. The seedlings are stored on that green side of the greenhouse, and after they get older, you start them in over that side of the greenhouse when they go into the trays or the beds or anything like that. A little bit around you'll have to do, because not everything's in the same area. But if your main crop, let's say you're doing lettuces and you're doing rafting beds, and you're doing a big triangle for everything, for all three main steps, that's not a good workflow. Start on this end, seedlings, everything here, put them in right there, and everything grows and comes back to you, and you can harvest right there, so your whole work area is on one side. A little bit, has to suffer because of multi-crops, yes, but think of your workflow. What am I doing on a daily, weekly, and monthly schedule? And in that, what's the most time-consuming thing you have? So if you're looking at aquaponics, let's say I say the most time-consuming thing I'm going to be doing is planting seedlings, taking the seedlings out and putting them in my growing media, whether that's a vertical tower, a grow bed, flying bed, whatever. Let's say that is 60% of my time, okay? I want to maximize that 60% of my time. That's where I want to focus on my workflow to get everything right there, to say, because labor is going to be your biggest variable, like I said. So keep your workflow really good, really smooth, to have everything there. Another one is know all your costs before you pick a product or sell the product. You plan to sell lettuce at price X, and you grow. I'm just using lettuce as an example for a lot of you saying. You have lettuce, I'm going to sell it this price. Okay? Well, then you go to sell it and you realize, it costs this much to produce. The bag I put it in costs this much. I forgot about the transportation and the shipping and all that stuff here. That's another chunk out. Know all your costs before you pick a product. Because if you got buyers and they'll say, yeah, we'll buy from you, but this is all we'll give you. That's it, no more. And your cost is right there and there's no profit margin, it's not viable. So know all your costs before you go into this. There'll always be some that you don't know, but you should know almost all your costs, going in. So pick a product, that's good. So saying that, what I was saying is pick a viable crop to sell, okay? There's some crops that are great and that sell that just don't sell a lot, okay? I want to have a greenhouse full of bay leaves. Great. I want to sell directly to my customers. Great. Not a huge markup. Who's going to buy bay leaves every month? Some restaurants. Not very many. And it's pretty cheap. So you have to pick a viable product to sell. And you want bay leaves? Great. That can be a product. But don't be your main product. And one of the reasons a lot of people use lettuces when they start growing is it's a quick turnover crop. If something bad happens, the worst case scenario is, let's say everything in your greenhouse is completely wiped out for reason X, whatever X is. You're only 6 weeks away from selling again. So, you're hedging your bets on those kind of crops. Where tomatoes, cucumbers, and stuff, there's a longer time before you can start selling. So, but then again, some of those last longer, so your planting times are less. So you have to look at the whole big picture of what you do. The next thing is, and for smaller people, and this is what, when I went to my training, they really preached on too, and I'm really glad they did, and I see smaller operations, this is probably the biggest thing they do wrong. They have no bio plan. You know, and they say, what do you mean by bio plan? When I get going in this greenhouse, from the inside, there's multiple doors. Every door is going to be locked except one from the inside. You have to come through the one door. The other ones will be nice for if I have loading, unloading, and stuff like that, and that's it. So when you come through that front door, the first thing, there's going to be a mat down there with chemical on it, so you have to walk through that mat to kill anything you bring in from outside. Stops it right there. There's going to be a hand sanitizer, a big hand sanitizer sitting right by the door. You pump, clean your hands. I want no diseases. Next to every fish tank, there's going to be hand sanitizer. If your hand goes in that fish tank, or that sump pump that I'll have, if your hand's reaching in there, you're sanitizing your hands before your hand reaches in there. That's some bio stuff you have to realize. Right now, since we're in a testing phase, there's not much bio going on here because we're not commercial environment, anything like that. When it's going, all the windows and doors will have screens on them to keep all the bad pests out. With that, it'll keep the good pests in. You know, part of my bio plan will be buying beneficial bugs. And saying that, when you buy beneficial bugs, think of a beneficial bug as a monthly expense, not a in case I need it. What I mean by that is, you see aphids attacking you, I want to go buy ladybugs. Okay, that's fine. It's already too late. What you want to do is have a monthly supply of stuff coming in every month, of good bugs coming in, and after a couple years, you will know, these 3 months I get this, these 3 months I get this, these 6 months I get this, every month I get a little bit of this, so you're paying a little bit each month. So you're bringing your beneficial bugs in every month, so you have a good bio plan. And you do that, and you'll keep on top of most stuff. You'll have some stuff happen, but a lot of your bad stuff is usually coming in on feet or hands. You know, that's how a lot of the stuff comes in. And it's not on purpose, it's nothing they're doing, it's just what it is. So, and that's every visitor. If a client wants to come see my operation, they have to do the same thing. Kids come and visit, they have to do the same thing. There'll be something on there, you know, you have to be at least 16 years old to come in, you know, unless you're accompanied by an adult. Part of the deal. I don't want kids dragging around doing that stuff, no offense to kids. And everybody younger than that, there's going to be a sign there, the kid must be accompanied at all times. You can't come in and let your kid run all over. You have to be next to your kid. That is how stuff gets diseased. You have one diseased plant, let's say you got a plant in the corner. I know it's diseased and it's limping along and I'm curing it and it's almost cured. When you have 5 kids running over because it looks different and start touching it, then they come and touch 10 other plants. Now I got 10 diseased plants. So that's what I'm getting at. You have to have a bio plan in place. And no matter how small you are, that goes along with an SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, SOPs. And this has, if you've ever been in corporate America, you will know SOPs. A lot of companies have SOPs. Even if you're a mom and pop operation, you should have SOPs. For if nothing else, and have an SOP on everything you can think of, from feeding the fish to doing the water testing, you know, to opening and closing, temperature control, everything, growing, planting, has an SOP. If nothing else, you have a part-time employee that comes in, even if you're doing everything yourself, but somebody comes in every now and then during your slow months, so your wife can take a vacation, and they're just kind of coming in and maintaining stuff. They will know everything to do. Okay? It's if you have an SOP in place, there's no issues. That's what you do, and that's how you do it. SOP also looks real good if you ever get inspected. SOPs look really good. Inspector comes in and says, I want to see your something here because of this. You say, let me go get my SOP and I'll walk you through what we do. And that, usually as soon as that happened with the inspectors, they drop down a notch for looking at you and how detailed, because they say, okay, they halfway got their act together. Even if they're kind of messed up, they're halfway okay. So they tone it down a little notch too. So that's what I mean by a bio plan and having an SOP procedure. Even if you're a small company, you got to think like a big company, because yes, there's a lot of faults in corporate America, but yes, corporate America does do a lot of stuff right also. So you got to think of that also. So that's basically what I had, those things about the economic viability of aquaponics. In summary, is it viable? Yes, it is. There's no doubt about it. It's viable. You have to say it's viable. There is hydroponics making it on every scale commercial. Small, medium, medium-large, super large. They're all making it. You know, if they plan right and they do stuff right. So, and that's all you are. You're a hydroponic grower. So if you think of it that way, economically, it's viable. There's no doubt about it. If you are, and this is something you have to look at yourself, if you are a person that's unmotivated personally, whereas you get home at night, you want to sit down all night and not do anything, sometimes being self-employed is not a good idea, because stuff will not get done. So that's something you have to look at yourself. Will it make it, and can you make it, are two totally different things. So I really urge people to do a lot more reading, watching videos, asking questions. And there seems to, that's why I really like, and I'm stereotype here, okay? And I don't try not to stereotype, but a lot of you guys will know, in general, women do a little better job in starting up businesses than men. I'm going to get a lot of people, oh, that, yes. But here's what I mean by that. In general, women are not as afraid to ask a question than men are. Some reason a lot of men think, oh, I don't want to look stupid. Whereas most women are like, I don't care, I want this to make it. So that's in general, that's not across the board. You know, don't take that personally. So you have to start getting into that more of a female role where do not be afraid to ask the question. Don't be afraid to ask the stupid question. When I went to the training, I had a list of about 100 questions before I even went. Now, I didn't ask any of them until the training was over. Most of them got answered in the training, but there was about 15 or 20 of them that were pretty basic, like dumb questions to them, and they didn't even flinch. They were like, oh yeah, here's the answer. You know, so don't be afraid to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask me the stupid question. And I hate to say stupid question. That's really wrong. There's no stupid questions. You guys heard that. There's no stupid question. I had a drill sergeant say once, and I really like this. He said, there's no stupid question, just stupid people. So you guys know what I mean by that. So saying that, it is economic viable, but you have to look at your own numbers. You have to look at what you're doing, how you're doing it, if you can do it, what you want to grow. I cannot give you numbers. There are, if you search for greenhouse economic numbers, there are charts out there. There's everything like this, but beware those charts, because those are for X. You might be Y. So just watch out for those. But you can plug their numbers out if you want to use their formulas. You know, pull their numbers out and put yours in. That's great. But the best thing is have a plan, know the plan, and make sure the plan isn't too complicated. That's in general what you probably want to do. So I appreciate everybody watching that. I hope this wasn't too much rambling or anything like that, but I was just getting a lot of questions about this, because I mentioned a couple of my videos that I went to training, some commercial training. I'm starting a greenhouse up here, and I just got a lot of questions. This might help answer some of those questions, and I know there's some people that probably didn't ask me questions because they didn't want to look stupid or anything. That hopefully this helped. But I'm hoping a lot of people ask me questions so I can make a part 2 of this. That would be great. If I get 30, 40 questions, then I'll make a part 2 of this video, because I think this is a needed area. Besides showing you flow the water over here and down over to here, there's more to aquaponics than just water flow and everything like that. So that's it. I hope everybody has a great day. Just keep on going on. If you have any questions, let me know. I ask everybody, if you found this interesting or anything, please subscribe. Down there, click on there to subscribe if you want to get all the new ones out there. That's it. Everybody have a great day, great year.